When Captain Jack Sparrow stumbles upon a mysterious ancient map, he quickly realizes it's no ordinary treasure hunt. This one leads to a place where the living and the dead are one and the same. The map promises the key to a hidden realm, but every step closer to its dark destination brings a cost: the lives of those who dare follow. With rival pirates, supernatural forces, and an unholy curse in pursuit, Jack must navigate a world where shadows rule, and the map itself seems to have a will of its own. Will Jack escape its deadly pull, or will he be trapped in a realm of eternal darkness forever? The sun had barely begun to set over the bustling port town of Tortuga when Captain Jack Sparrow found himself face to face with a peculiar sight. A ragged pirate, one with a tattered coat and wild eyes, staggered into the tavern clutching something tightly in his hands: an ancient, weathered map. The pirate muttered to himself in frantic tones, speaking of a realm of shadows and eternal darkness, before collapsing at the bar. Jack, ever the opportunist, slid over to the table, his eyes narrowing in curiosity. "What's this, mate? A map to a hidden treasure? Or perhaps a guide to your final resting place?" He grinned, trying to mask his unease at the frantic energy emanating from the pirate. The old man looked up, eyes wide with fear. "No treasure, no gold," he rasped, voice quivering. "This map, it leads to a place where no light touches, where souls are trapped for all eternity. The curse, it follows anyone who seeks it." Jack leaned in closer, intrigued by the map's eerie glow. Despite the pirate's warning, the pull of adventure and the promise of power tempted him. Jack had never been one to shy away from danger, and this map, imbued with an ominous sense of history, was too enticing to resist. He quickly grabbed the map from the pirate's shaking hands, promising to take it off his burdened shoulders. With the old man's final breath, Jack tossed a few coins onto the table, his mind already racing. The map was a mystery, one that Jack had to solve. And so, with the cursed map in hand, Jack Sparrow set sail once more, unaware that the curse had already begun to follow him. Captain Jack Sparrow stood on the deck of the Black Pearl, the wind in his hair and the salty air clinging to his skin, as the map spread out before him. The cryptic symbols danced across the old parchment, glowing faintly under the dimming sun. Each twist and turn seemed to lead them closer to a place that no sane pirate would venture. The first clue had led them here, an uncharted island far off the regular trade routes, covered in thick, misty fog. It wasn't marked on any map Jack knew, and yet, here they were. "Look alive, lads!" Jack shouted to his crew, his voice carrying over the deck. "We've got ourselves an island to explore, and, by the looks of it, a cursed one at that." The crew exchanged uneasy glances, but Jack's confidence was enough to set them in motion. They dropped anchor on a jagged coastline, where black rocks jutted out from the shore like ancient teeth. The fog hung thick in the air, and the sun had nearly disappeared, leaving only a pale moon to light their path. Strange sounds echoed in the distance, whispers that seemed to come from nowhere, as if the island itself was alive with secrets. As Jack led the way through the dense jungle, the map pulsed in his hand, guiding him forward. It was no ordinary map. It seemed to shift, the symbols rearranging themselves as if alive. Suddenly, they came upon an enormous stone altar, covered in moss and ancient carvings. At its center was a glowing crystal, the first true clue to the map's secrets. As Jack approached, the ground beneath them trembled, and a cold, unnatural wind swept through the jungle. Something was watching them, and it wasn't friendly. The crystal on the altar pulsed with an eerie light, casting long shadows across the jungle floor. Jack Sparrow eyed it warily, knowing that the closer he came to uncovering the secrets of the map, the more perilous the journey would become. His hand hovered over the glowing stone, hesitant. The air around them felt charged, as though the island itself was alive, breathing, watching. The whispers from the shadows grew louder, and Jack could feel the eyes of unseen forces closing in. "Careful, Jack," muttered Gibbs, his voice low with unease. "This doesn't feel right." Jack flashed his trademark grin, the one that could charm any enemy or ally into submission. Oh, come now, Gibbs. What's life without a little danger? Besides, what's the worst that could happen? With a swift movement, Jack snatched the crystal from the altar, its glow intensifying as it slipped into his palm. Immediately, the ground trembled, and the sky above darkened. The island's tranquility shattered like glass. The fog thickened, swirling violently around them, and the sounds of distant, eerie wails filled the air. From the depths of the jungle, shadowy figures began to emerge. Vague, monstrous shapes, twisting and writhing like wraiths. The curse was awakening. With the crystal now in his possession, the map shifted once again, leading Jack and his crew deeper into the island's heart. They trekked through hidden caves and winding tunnels, the walls slick with moisture and age. The further they ventured, the more the light seemed to fade, replaced by an oppressive, inky darkness that seemed to swallow the world whole. As they descended into the deepest part of the island, the air grew colder, and Jack couldn't shake the feeling that the map was now leading them towards something far more dangerous than they had ever anticipated. The abyss was calling. And this time, there would be no turning back. The darkness engulfed them like an endless void, swallowing every trace of light. Jack Sparrow and his crew stood at the entrance to the realm of shadows, the final destination of the cursed map. The stone walls around them were covered in strange, twisting symbols that seemed to pulse in rhythm with their hearts. An oppressive silence hung in the air, broken only by the distant echoes of whispers that felt far too close. The map in Jack's hands hummed with unnatural energy, its ancient markings glowing faintly, guiding them deeper into the abyss. "Welcome to the end of the world," Jack muttered under his breath, his voice barely audible in the suffocating quiet. His hand tightened around the map, and for the first time, he felt a true sense of dread, a feeling that not even he could talk his way out of. The crew, pale and uneasy, followed closely behind. Every step they took seemed to lead them further from the world they knew and closer to a place where reality itself seemed to fray at the edges. They passed through twisted gates of blackened stone and crossed rivers of inky darkness, where the very water shimmered with souls trapped in eternal torment. The ground beneath their feet pulsed like a heartbeat, vibrating with an energy so ancient, it made the air feel alive with malice. At the heart of the realm stood a towering citadel, its spires scraping against a sky that seemed to ripple like liquid shadow. The map was leading them straight to it, but Jack couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The air around the citadel was thick with the presence of something far older than the curse itself, a force that had waited for centuries, hungry for souls. Jack Sparrow had no choice but to press forward. The map had brought them here, and now the realm of shadows would claim them, whether they were ready or not. The towering citadel loomed before them, dark and foreboding, its spires slicing through the unnaturally black sky. Jack Sparrow stood at its entrance, heart pounding with a strange mix of anticipation and terror. The map, now faintly glowing with an otherworldly light, had led them here, deeper into the realm of shadows, and the walls seemed to close in around them. The curse, it seemed, had no intention of letting them leave. Inside the citadel, the air was thick with the oppressive weight of centuries of forgotten souls, their whispers swirling around the crew like an invisible storm. Jack could feel the map's magic surging in his hands, as if it was alive and pulling him closer to whatever awaited in the heart of the citadel. With every step, the shadows grew darker, more oppressive, and the ground beneath their feet trembled with an ominous pulse. "This is it," Jack muttered, looking around at his crew. "The end of the line, mates. Either we get out of here, or we become part of the very curse we've been chasing." Gibbs, his face drawn and pale, glanced nervously at the doorways that lined the citadel's halls. "And how do you plan on getting out, Jack? We've got shadowy creatures lurking around every corner, and I've got a bad feeling about that map. It's not guiding us anymore, it's controlling us." Jack's grin faltered for a moment, replaced by a flicker of doubt. The map's power was undeniable, But so was the growing realization that their only way out might be to destroy the very thing that had brought them here. Suddenly, the shadows took shape, twisted writhing figures of tortured souls, their eyes glowing with an unholy light. With the map pulsing in his hand, Jack knew the only choice was to destroy it. In one final desperate move, he hurled the map into the center of the citadel's heart. The ground shook violently, the shadows recoiling as the map disintegrated into a burst of light. The citadel began to collapse, and the Black Pearl emerged from the mist, ready to carry them home. But Jack knew that this wasn't over. The realm of shadows had been only one piece of the puzzle, and whatever force lay beyond was still watching. The escape was won, but at what cost?
You